Thank you so much. You just fell right into that. Thank you, congregation. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, tech folks who are working so hard up there to solve this problem. Thank you.
We got Zoom people with us.
We got Zoom. It was worth the wait. All right. Okay, we got a service to. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Sam Kirkland. My pronouns are he and him, and I am just tickled copper to serve as your worship associate today and to mark my very first long-awaited opportunity to share the pulpit with Reverend Patrice Curtis. Join me as we recite our covenant and C.B. Benwell lights our chalice. If you're watching remotely, and you are, go tech, go tech, go tech. Where was I? Okay. Oh yeah, and have a chalice with you. Please light it with us. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to share our strength in fellowship, thus do we covenant.
My goodness. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix. No matter where you come from, how you worship, or how you identify, you are welcome here, welcome home, and welcome to worship. And thank you, Tech. Welcome as we explore the mysteries of being human together in community. We are so glad that you are here. I'm Reverend Patrice Curtis. My pronouns are they conjugated, and it's an honor to serve you as your affiliate minister. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix strives to be a spiritual community for our time, one that is theologically diverse, radically inclusive, and justice-centered. If you are new here, we are so glad you found us. Each Sunday is different here, so please come back a few times to really get to know us. If you are willing and able, would you please wave so that we might see you here? Do we have any new folks? Oh, I saw a few tentative hands. So glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. We have a few announcements about our community. With the theme of Earth Day, if you couldn't tell, it is fitting that after service today, Earth Justice has a treat for you. Please get snacks and then join Earth Justice in the sanctuary right here at noon to watch the film Common Ground. It tells how regenerative farming can improve soil and absorb more CO2. You won't want to miss this. The next, second announcement, the next starting point for people interested in becoming members, okay, excuse me, that's actually tech. No, that's okay, let me just, all right. The next starting point for people interested in becoming members will be next Saturday, April 27th from 9 to 1 in the Johnson Room. Register on the website. Finally, please join your civic engagement team on the 28th after service in the sanctuary to add a note to letters encouraging Arizona voters to participate in the November election. And now, let us draw deeper into the present moment and into our worship.
Our opening words are a responsive reading from Kate R. Walker entitled, A Time for Transformation. I will read a passage and you can respond with, we pledge to transform our lives. The words will be on the screen behind me. The last passage, we will say something different, and those words will be displayed on the screen as well. Okay, let's try this together. We pledge to transform our lives. All right. A buttery yellow full moon, half covered by lacy leaves and branches, for our earth, our ancient mother, blue-green planet of the galaxy, harbinger of lives beyond measure, we honor you with our humble presence. We bow with humility and gratitude. We pledge to transform our lives. For the plants that have sustained our bodies, wheat, corn, peas, tomatoes, peppers, and soybeans, for the live species providing rich protein, fish, poultry, pork, and beef, we offer our thanks for the circle of life. We pledge to transform our lives. For the waters that gave us daily life, from ocean depths to rocky cliffs, from Arctic ice to beaches and small streams, from lofty clouds to precious cups at our lips, we remember our dependence on water. We pledge to transform our lives. For the mountains rising to challenge our greatest aspirations, for the deserts transformed by a torrent of rain, for the forests thick with trunks marked by rings of wisdom, for roots, interconnected web, for the new life within the heart of a seed, our souls respond in awe. We pledge to transform our lives. For the millions of species, microscopic in the soils under our feet, to the pads, paws, and multi-toed, for the feathers and scales, for the minuscule eyes, open only under the moon's soft guidance, and for the lichens and mosses pushing onto the leaves and rocks, we honor your existence. We pledge to transform our lives. For all of us descendants of the first primates, for those who sleep under the same blessed skies, for those who breathe the same oxygen feeding our hearts, for those who need love as much as I, and for those who yearn for the ease of compassion's release, we remember we are not alone. Called by love for the interconnected web of existence, and I pledge to transform my life and yours. I now would like to let you know that Katie, who at this point would do a Together Time story, she's not going to be able to join us today, so we're going to forego Together Time. I mean, other than the fact that we're all together, you know. All right. Okay? All right.
Well, I love that this song, the next song we're going to sing is For the Earth Forever Turning, number 163 in your gray hymnal. The words echo a lot of what Sam was reading. And Connie will play through the song before we sing it. privilege to say I'm the chairperson of the Earth Justice Ministries, which will be screening the film Common Ground. So I'd like to add, for the Micro Rizzle Network. Come and learn about it.
Each week, we split our offering between this congregation and an organization that shares our values. For April 2024, our Share the Plate partner is ASA Now, which is a nonprofit organization founded by 3 foster adoptive mothers for the purpose of bringing awareness to Arizona's foster care crisis. They create opportunities for our community to volunteer to impact the lives of Arizona's most vulnerable population, children who are abused, abandoned, or neglected. To serve children, youth, and families directly impacted by foster care, ASA Now created a one-stop healing space where immediate needs are met. Family activities are provided for healing and joy. Birthdays and graduations are celebrated. Caregivers are supported through advocacy, workshops, support groups, trainings, food assistance, retreats, respite, family, and holiday events. For all that you give, we are grateful. Ushers, thank you for your willing hands in helping to pass the plate.
Hello, hi, I'm CB Benwell. My pronouns are she, hers, and I am going to play an unrehearsed piece for you on the drum, and we're gonna think about our heartbeat and our connectedness with each other and with the earth. Thank you.
It's an important practice in this community to make time to share pieces of our lives with one another. Sharing them together, we can amplify the joys and lessen our burdens. If you're on Zoom and you'd like to share a joy or sorrow, please type it into the chat. Just a brief note of what is in your heart today, and I will read it aloud to share. If you're in the sanctuary today, there are cards located at the small table at the back of the sanctuary. As we open this sacred time to share in community, let us open our hearts to the joys and sorrows that we shared together, and those still on our hearts with a moment of stillness. From Amy Miskell, a sadness. Stephen's brother Tim was hospitalized yesterday in Indiana for a lingering respiratory illness that they determined is not COVID. They will be doing further testing and treatments. Amy. And a few joys. Gianna writes, I was promoted to gray belt at jiu-jitsu yesterday. Congratulations, yeah. And Cherie Stafford writes, a joy, gratitude for the caring ministry stitchers who delivered a beautiful comfort shawl, and to everyone for your caring thoughts and well wishes and help while I recover from spine surgery. The healing is progressing well. Yes, so glad to hear that. Yeah. For all of your joys and sorrows this week, this morning, those named and those silently within, we send our love to each other, both here and online. And there's just one more Zoom that came in, and given our challenges this morning, I'll share this with you. Grateful again for Jade, Danny, and Dale for being amazing tech supervisors to help with technical issues such as the ones we had today. Yes. That's beautiful. 2 years into this position, and I am lucky to have them. That's from Peyton. Will you join me now in a, okay.
This just in.
Nigel writes, top of state freshman for track. Whoa. I was going to say, I think Nigel was showing off his talent there. The time of prayer and meditation. When we are holding so much in our world and our hearts, joys, sorrows, it's good to take time to connect with our body and our spirit. Oftentimes, this is the only time in the week that we get to stop and do this. Soften into the here and now in a spirit of meditation and prayer. Relax and let yourself settle into this moment. Our prayer today is both a 6th century Buddhist prayer and mine. May you be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May you be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, and for the great multitudes of living beings. May you bring sustenance and awakening enduring like the earth and sky, until all beings are awakened to the boundless love that surrounds us. If you find yourself in need of guardian light, a guide to bring you along the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge to cross the flood, may you find a lamp to light your way through the darkness, a resting place for your weary bones and heart, a tree to sit under to bring you sustenance, flowers and herbs to offer healing. And may you know you are not alone, for there are great multitudes of living beings all flourishing on earth and under the sky. Amen.
Am I on now? Okay. When Connie Yarmark was our director, I don't remember how long ago, but for many, many years, she had us sing the following song on May Day or around May Day each year. Apparently there was a maypole, which I don't remember, but I was usually sitting up here not dancing around the maypole. So anyway, the women of the choir are going to present this for you today. You do what you can, but okay. All right.
Sing, O ye joyful now, sing all together. The winds in the treetops, the winds in the heather, the stars are in blossom, the moon is in flower, and bright are the windows of night in her tower. The sing, O ye joyful, is sing all together. The shadows of winds in the starry essence, the May time, and Mary, Mary, Mary are meeting. Sing, O ye joyful now, sing all together. The winds in the joyful now, winds in the air. The saints are in blossom, the wind is in fire, and saints are in joyful as love is in gather. The rain is in the land, the shadows are safe there, and there is some time, and Mary, Mary, the Saint of meeting, and Sharon, there is some May of meeting, and Mary is the May time, and Mary are meeting. Sing, O ye joyful now, sing all together. The winds in the treetop, the winds in the heaven, the stars are in blossom, the moon is in flower, and bright are the windows of night in her tower. The river is silver, the shadows are fleeting,
Sing all ye joyful indeed. It's been quite a morning, folks. And it's going to be quite a day, based on the fact that this has been quite a morning. My reflection today is on transformation, or the gift of humility in the middle of overwhelming and imminent transformation. As I enter this season of my life, I am amazed at my ability to experience tremendous pendulum swings of joy and pain. And even more amazing is my ability to feel palpably the power of positive thoughts, wishes, prayers, and intentions. And I would like to express my gratitude to all of you within these walls and beyond. And as I take in data on this leg of my journey toward my own inevitable transformation, I want to be crystal clear on my connection to the earth. I believe undeniably that the underlying force of nature is feminine, and that like most things feminine in our society, this force is devalued, mystified, or ignored due to viewing it through masculine social lenses with almost paternalistic hubris. That being said, the reality is that if we don't learn sooner rather than later that Mother Earth is truly the only vessel that we can count on collectively to take care of all of us, even as we ever hopefully, in fits and starts, intentionally learn to take care of each other, and that the more we treat our planet like a trash receptacle to our own egos and compulsions, then it won't be us who will have to pay for it. It will be our grandchildren and great-grandchildren who will be forced to deal with our unbridled greed and hubris. Most of my thoughts these days border around accepting the duality of a great deal of grief and a great deal of joy bouncing around my brain and my heart at breakneck speed, which makes moments of reflection such as this a tender indulgence and an exercise in grace, acceptance, and unconditional love. And while these things superficially seem to share nothing in common with Earth Day, in my voyage on our blue boat home, so far, everything in nature has a way of showing us that tremendous transformative power. Mother Nature will be ignored at our own peril. So often in stories, you haven't a clue who's responsible for the protagonist's ultimate undoing. I hope and pray that it's not too late to solve this mystery before future generations come to the collective conclusion that we made deliberate choices that kicked the can of this tremendous problem down the highway or was dumped overboard from our collective blue boat home.
Hello. In case you couldn't tell from that first song, I am not a conductor. Susan Senft, one of our sopranos, was going to do the conducting this morning, and she These people have come for 4 extra rehearsals. We've really tried to make this nice, and Susan unfortunately was sick this morning. But I know how to wave my arms, so here I am. This is For the Beauty of the Earth by John Rutter. Okay, I'm gonna wave with wild abandon.
You got this.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies, over and around us lies, source of all to thee we raise. This our joyful hymn of praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale, and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light, sun and moon and stars of light, source of all to thee we raise. This our joyful hymn of praise. For the joy of human love, for the joy of love, brother, sister, parent, child, brother, sister, parent, child, friends on earth, and friends above, gentle thoughts in love, gentle thoughts and minds, source of this is our joyful hymn of praise. For each perfect gift of love, for the grace so freely given, graces you, graces source of all to thee we raise. This our joyful hymn of praise. This our joyful hymn, our hymn of praise.
Well, we wouldn't have known, Susan, if you hadn't told us. It was beautiful. Thank you. For the last year or so, I've spent some part of my week thinking about the cosmos, how unfathomably big it is, and specifically what life might be out there that may someday visit here. I have a few UU ministers who are also sort of interested in this nebulous potential future, and I pull them together every now and again. We talk about this big future, a future that may happen soonish or maybe 1,000 years from today. In any event, that can only happen if Earth lets us continue to live here. When he returned to Earth, Apollo 11's astronaut Michael Collins said, "The thing that really surprised me was that Earth projected an air of fragility. And why? I don't know. I don't know to this day. I had a feeling it's tiny, it's shiny, it's beautiful, it's home, and it's fragile." Collins experienced the overview effect. The overview effect is a cognitive shift in awareness that happens most of the time when Earth is seen from outer space by astronauts and space tourists. Most report that the effect produces euphoria and alters their view of planetary conflict. Richard Garrio's space tourist said, "It was like drinking from a fire hose of information. I had heard of the overview effect, but having done many extreme things in my own life, skydiving, mountain climbing, visiting the Titanic and Antarctica, I didn't think it would greatly affect me. That is until I got into space. My life has changed because of my space experience." And Apollo 9 astronaut Russell Rusty Schweickart said, "When you go around the Earth in an hour and a half, you begin to recognize that your identity is with that whole thing. That makes a change. It comes through to you so powerfully." An hour and a half going at space speed. I thought space speed sounded good for a sermon. I thought about looking it up, and it's like, space speed works. At 3 miles per hour, if you're walking, it would take 346 24-hour days to walk around Earth's circumference. So one way to embrace a planet about 1,970 million square miles large, 25,000 miles wide, and 12 kilometers of atmosphere is to go to space. But how in the world might a single person embrace something so large? So I've flown a lot of miles in my life. At one point, I had enough miles to go around Earth several times over. My latest trips have taken me to Anchorage in the past 2 years to help an aging and ailing family member. I've flown past the dateline twice. I felt blessed that most of my travel was to serve. I'm still not over the wonder of what I might see high in the sky when it seems I can see right to the edge of the curve of Earth. The sun up there can look differently reflecting against the clouds. Even the clouds themselves look different. You can see more than one state when you're 20 or 30,000 feet up. If you're flying over Europe, you can see more than one country. So you and I might not make it to space, but we can still see beyond our own anthill. So from way up there, bump down with me to the surface of Earth and just under the surface. Let's visit Cousin Ant. So Cousin Ant is known by indigenous communities as representing super strength, intelligence, psychic abilities, telepathic communication, sharp thinking, and planning. Yet Cousin Ant is barely a speck in a world of giants. Ant's days are spent in a constant hustle, navigating a jungle of blades of grass, bits of dirt, and hauling around crumbs the size of boulders. Cousin Ant's entire world revolves around the anthill, a bustling metropolis teeming with activity. Suddenly, a gust of wind lifts Ant up and blows them onto a green stalk. Disoriented and frightened, Ant runs up the towering green skyscraper with a very big round flower at the top that reminds Ant of the sun, but it's not giving off any heat. Ant looks around and realizes that their home, once the center of their universe, is now a tiny, bustling dot. Cousin Ant sees for the first time the intricate network of tunnels snaking through the dirt, the glistening dewdrops clinging to leaves like miniature planets. This vantage point, this overview of fact, alters Ant's perspective. So Cousin Ant, our cousin, sees the bigger picture, the intricate dance of life unfolding. They even spot a spider in its web, a terrifying monster beforehand from ground level, now transformed into a delicate, shimmering being, a beautiful net, still to be avoided, but now with appreciation. All the work spider does over and over again. Fright melts into newfound respect for the interconnectedness of their world. I attended UC Davis in California. Davis started out as a research farm in 1908, so it is very, I see a nod of head. Are you an Aggie? Okay. So it's a huge bike university surrounded by a small city that is known for its bike lanes. Students mostly get around on bikes, some on skateboards, of which I had both when I was there. It was a pretty important reason for why I chose to get into Davis. You know, we all have our reasons. I loved biking and using my skateboard. Today, there are over 22,000 bikes on that campus. The campus has a huge grassy central quad located right off the Student Union with beautiful old trees surrounding the edges. I fondly remember Earth Day, an all-weekend party in a school known for having serious, maybe even egghead students. On Earth Day, though, the field was full of artist booths and musicians, and the tie-dye shirts came out, the handmade flutes and the hand drums, the loose pants made of hemp and organic cotton, and you could find a place to make a friendship bracelet. In fact, I thought it would be fun to kind of bring that vibe in here. If you are willing and able, would you rise energetically or bodily? And I'm not going to use the mic, so let's see if we can mimic Cousin Ant's telepathic powers. Is CB here? Oh, maybe she stepped out. Thank you. About a month ago, when we had a big rainstorm, I turned off all the busyness in my mind and in the family room, closed my eyes, leaned back in my chair, and Nancy and I just listened to the rain that you all just made. Chief Seattle was the 19th century leader of Susquehannock and Duwamish people. Professor Reverend Randy Woodley, an indigenous theologian from the Kiowa tradition, recounts part of Chief Seattle's 1854 treaty oration in his book, Indigenous Theology and the Western World View. Chief Seattle said, "Every part of the soil is sacred in the estimation of my people. Every hillside, every valley, every plain and grove has been made sacred by some sad or happy event in days long vanished. Even the rocks, which seem to be dumb and dead as they swelter in the sun along the silent shore, thrill with memories of stirring events connected with the lives of my people." Reverend Woodley says that Chief Seattle said these words, not to say American Indians were better than settlers, but because of the way that settler folks treated the land and the way they looked at the land. Woodley continues, "I suggest that Chief Seattle meant that the land hasn't welcomed settler folk because the settlers have not bothered to ask to be welcomed to the land. No proper introduction with the land was sought. I want to suggest that it is not too late to be introduced properly to the land." So our settler colonialist society didn't teach us to be in relationship with the land. This is something we are learning now. And because of that, we are hurting Earth. And we know it. Maybe this lack of introduction is part of why many of us in our U.S. American society have low-grade feelings of distress within us. Experts are calling this eco-distress, climate distress. A 2022 paper identified 6 types of eco-anxiety, 8 types of eco-guilt, and 2 types of eco-grief from talking with people. The 2 types of eco-grief were the loss of the physical environment and species and the anticipation of future losses. One eco-anxiety was helplessness and frustration caused partly by the magnitude of the challenge and partly by the lack of control over it. Eco-guilt included feelings of self-criticism and self-blame and being upset over forgetting to do something better when we have identified that we can do something better. But the study also found ways people were coping with eco-anxiety, guilt, and grief. One was adopting more eco-friendly actions or behaviors. Another was joining a community for social support with those where environmental protection was an important topic, like here. Another was realizing that they can only make changes locally, which helped them lower their worry. You do what you can do, where you are. Another was magnifying joy and gratitude when they actually lived into the changes that they knew that they could make. The Unitarian Universalist Ministry for Earth has a helpful reminder for us. They share, although it is appropriate to be worried about climate change at extreme levels, climate distress, anxiety, and grief can threaten our ability to function, making it hard to sleep, work, or even have fun. So we're called to do something, to make a change that we can. Anush Ansari, a space tourist, said this when they returned to Earth. The actual experience exceeds all expectations and is something that's hard to put to words. It sort of reduces things to a size that you think everything is manageable. All these things that may seem big and impossible, we can do this. Peace on earth, no problem. It gives people that type of energy, that type of power, and I have experienced that. So to most effectively do what we can do individually, no matter how small it seems, we want to lower our distress. If it sounds circular, it kind of is. Taking the train or the bus instead of flying, or at least trying, is one way, or taking a scooter instead of a car. Just doing some small thing, improving our understanding of recycling, and then recycling a few more items that we used to throw away, helps us come out of the stuckness, out of eco-guilt. Another way is magnifying joy and gratitude and appreciation for Earth. In my office, I have a space I've created about 3 feet in front of my desk. There are 4 plants on a very small wooden bench and a small water fountain made by a potter. Alexa turns the light on automatically at the time the sun rises and off when the sun goes down for the plants. I added a few shells that I've collected from such places as Mombasa, the Red Sea, Nandi, Monterey, California, Clearwater Beach, Cabo San Luca, and such. One might call it an altar to Earth. It is a space that reminds me to be joyful and grateful for Earth. It reminds me that plants and trees and weeds take the carbon monoxide I blow out and transform it into oxygen for me to breathe in and live. And because my mother loved plants and had a plant store as a hobby, from time to time she floats into my memory, and I smile. We can keep growing our relationship to Earth's creatures and critters. Although it took precious water for a year to get our mesquite and palo verde trees to become firmly rooted, we turned our little plot of land that was mostly dirt covered by rock back to Earth. Now we see many types of birds in and under our trees, including parrots for part of the year, because we don't blow or sweep away the twigs and seeds that fall under the trees. We pull so-called weeds quicker than we might in the front because of a few neighbors. But in the back, we mostly leave them for the rabbits. In our environment, they don't get too tall because they don't get too much rain. And sometimes you must encourage Coyote to move on when he comes to visit. It's all connected. What does your little plot look like? Inside and outside. Through our small daily reminders that we are connected is how we make sense of protecting 197 million square miles of Earth and the 12 kilometers of our atmosphere, without which we would not be here. And finally, Earth ought to always be revered, written with an uppercase E as a proper name, like Achebe or Aaron or Abigail, so that we are reminded that Earth is a being in its own right. Namaste.
Now we get to close again with Blue Boat Home. So Connie will bring us in with the chorus.
The
As we close our service, we remind you to reach out to someone new or that you haven't seen for a while. Our exploration hour activities for children and adults starts at noon, and we will be listed on the screen following the service. Please enjoy our coffee hour, which is in the Johnson Room just across the patio. Okay, food brought by the members of Earth Justice. Don't miss it. And then, of course, stay for 12 o'clock. A prayer for climate justice by Reverend Kelly Dignan, slightly adapted from what was shared in Side with Love's 30 Days of Love 2024. I encourage you to go to UUMFE's website, uumfe.org, for upcoming events. In the presence of the boundless mysteries of the cosmos, we gather in deep gratitude and awe. We give thanks for the unfolding wonders of the natural world, the intricate dance of ecosystems, the resilience of life, and the profound interconnectedness that weaves through the tapestry of existence. As we marvel at the grandeur of the universe, we humbly recognize our place within this cosmic symphony. Grant us the wisdom to embrace a deep love and reverence for Earth, our shared home. May we return to ancient practices of reciprocity and mutuality as we recognize the inherent value of every creature, every ecosystem, and every delicate balance that sustains life. Go in peace, go in love, and thank our tech team.